What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the greatest gathering of trains to mark the 200th anniversary of the railway. From what I understand, this isn't just the 200th anniversary of the British Railway. This is the 200th year anniversary of the modern railway in general. So obviously, the railway itself must have gotten its start out of Britain.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Everything else is pretty much come out of Britain.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it was, what is that popular engineer's name?
Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Yes, yeah. We still have to look him up, but I know he had a lot to do with ships. He had a lot to do with the rail system, from what I understand. We're definitely going to be checking him out in the near future. Honestly, it's kind of amazing that, I guess, it's 200 years in 2025, meaning I guess the start was 1825.
That's pretty cool.
And it makes sense. That was kind of that era where they really needed to start mass transporting things across vast distances, across the country, from the center of the country to the ports that would leave and ship outward or bring stuff in and whatnot. So anyways, guys, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and jump in here and check out the greatest gathering of trains to mark 200 years of the railway.
Welcome to our special programme celebrating 200 years of the modern railway. I'm on the footplate of arguably the world's most famous.
You recognise it?
Is it Flying Scotsman?
Flying Scotsman at Alstom in Derby, where they've been building trains for almost 150 years.
Wow.
And today, thank you, they are celebrating the greatest gathering of modern and historic engines. On the programme tonight, Location Locomotive. Why this is the greatest gathering of engines past, present and future.
Coming here today, we were lucky to get tickets in the second lot of tickets.
Oh, you had a big ticket, so it wasn't just a free-for-all.
From train building and the beaching cuts to the new headquarters of Great British Rail, how the East Midlands has always been at the heart of the network.
3 different railway companies came to Derby in the late 1830s and changed the world.
Electrification is going to be a significant step up from the trains we've got today that run on the Midland Main Line.
And there may be a contender for the most famous locomotive in the world. I wonder which one.
Good evening and welcome to what's being billed as the greatest gathering of trains of all time. Now, I know it's a little bit quiet now, but earlier on, around 15,000 people were here at this rail festival today, with thousands more expected over the weekend. And as you can see behind me, there are just actually, you may be able to see 4 of the locomotives that have been part of the main attraction today.
Okay, so what is Alstom? Is that just a train company? This is probably just some sort of train factory or something.
Train factory, maybe.
And it's certainly been a real treat for both rail enthusiasts and for anyone who just loves trains. There's been something for everyone, and as our correspondent Charlotte Cross found out, it is the people in rail.
Wonder how many trains were there for this.
I wonder how much the tickets cost to go to this.
I love that sound.
For 200 years, that has been the sound of the railways. And today in Derby, at the very heart of railway history, it was the soundtrack to the day, as trains throughout the ages came together for a once-in-a-generation exhibition.
It's amazing, a one-off experience, isn't it?
The steam's amazing, yeah. Brilliant, beautiful.
It's the first time I'm seeing this kind of trains. So it's not usually you see these trains every day. So it's really a good experience.
Well, they have said I can have a go.
Oh, look at that one.
So let's
yeah, that's fancy.
Amazing. There is nothing quite like that sound.
Okay.
That would be really cool to do.
Okay, she's blowing the whistle from what appears to be inside, but there's no... she's not surrounded by anything. You see what I'm saying?
I wonder if this is like a
replica of an inside of a train.
You just go up and like try.
That must be what that is, yeah.
Maybe.
Is there? And this train itself actually dates back to 1863.
Oh no!
It is old.
Whoa!
As the railways themselves.
So it's open.
Oh, I like that. Did you see that?
Yeah. I've never seen that before.
She said it dated back to 1863.
I didn't catch it. I was all like freaking out over the...
Well, they have said I can have a go at tooting the whistle, so let's see.
I want to see this again.
Amazing. There is nothing quite like that sound, is there? And this train itself actually dates back to 1863. So
Wow.
today is
Okay.
First railway tracks. Yeah, is that like where the engineer would be? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, so that's interesting. I've never seen a train that is open like that.
Me either.
I don't know if that's the way it came, but it looks like that may have been the way it was.
That's cool.
Yeah.
old as the railways.
The furnace
themselves.
railway.
And that's what this exhibition is all about, celebrating the very, very old, all the way to the brand new.
It's the history of the country. You know, the railways just brought so much with the industrialisation.
I think the railways made this country, right? They were built, they were carried people around, carried goods around. They helped the UK become what it is today.
It's important just to kind of see how far we've come.
These were the machines that built Britain. These were the machines that made Britain what it is today. And without that, I don't know what Britain would be now.
For some, it was an emotional day too. John Jones worked with steam engines on the railways from the age of 15. And from 1965 was a driver serving Wolverhampton, Stourbridge, Leamington Spa and beyond. Today, there were 4 generations of his family with him as he took a trip down memory lane.
So they called him a driver instead of an engineer.
Yeah.
I would assume they would be called engineers. That's what I've always called a conductor, an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard it said as a driver.
I haven't either.
Magic, really, because these things are they're alive. You know,
engine driver.
Each one is different. It's like going back to my time on the railway. They're just the smell. The smell.
Yeah, I bet you get like that in your blood.
Yeah.
Brings it all back.
Yeah, yeah.
From the nostalgia of days gone by to the train travel of tomorrow, it's clear that the next chapter of Britain's railway story is still being written.
Okay, I just have to say, and I think you'll agree with me on this, that just like everything in modern times, it seems like we have devolved when it comes to building beautiful things. Just like the buildings of the Victorian era and before were so much more grand and just beautiful
Detailed.
than, yeah, they have more detail. The same you can see in the modern trains versus what they used to build. These things were magnificent. It wasn't just about being able to do the work that needed to be done. It was about beauty of the engine itself.
It's weird because it's like he said, these steam engines are living, breathing machines. You know, they're alive.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way about the style of architecture. Like it felt like there was a soul to it almost.
Yeah.
Whereas now everything's so clinical and just cookie cutter. And
yeah, you think about this. When you look at this engine right here, it appears to have a personality about it. But when you see the newer trains, they don't have that same level of personality.
Not to say that there isn't great things about newer trains,
right? Of course,
but it's not the same.
It doesn't have the same. They didn't put the same level of thought into what it was going to look like. It's more about today. It's more about like efficiency, which is understandable. But back in the day, they actually obviously created things for beauty as well.
And it starts right here.
And we've certainly seen that history in the making today. I'm joined now by the Managing Director of Alstom, who is Rob White. Rob, welcome to the programme. It's been a great day today.
It's been absolutely incredible from the moment I arrived here. Even the sun managed to stay out. Lots of happy faces, lots of really enthused children. Couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah, and thankfully the rain's holding off for us as well now. It's the first time you've opened the site in 50 years. Why now?
Yeah,
wow.
The site hasn't been open since I've been alive, but we took the opportunity to celebrate the 200th anniversary of passenger railways starting in 1825. And really, it was only us that could do that as Alstom because of our heritage, our history. We're the only site in the UK that still designs, builds, manufactures, tests trains.
Okay,
right.
That answered my question. Yeah, it's basically a train factory.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And really we felt
that's a good location to have this.
We couldn't do it, who else could? And we needed to celebrate 200 years of this amazing industry.
Yeah, and we're quite lucky, aren't we? Because normally we wouldn't be allowed this close to the track.
No, normally I'm not allowed to stand here. I mean, this is a working factory. On Monday, once all of these things have gone out, we start the manufacture of the next 10 Elizabeth line trains. So around the site, you can sort of see the preparation for that. So this is a working factory. and we've been able to somehow get this organised, get this event on, celebrate it with everyone. But yeah, we go back to work on Monday.
And it's certainly been very much
appreciated.
appreciated.
Up. So this is all the factory, obviously.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Look at this.
I know.
I mean, like, that is massive. I mean, you'd have to be
to build trains.
Yeah.
From what we've seen today, what are your hopes for the future of rail? We've had so much in the headlines for the past few years. What are you hoping will happen?
So I'm hoping that people remember again that it is the most efficient way of moving people around the country. So
and
particularly
goods.
when we're going from heavy density populations, we're moving around. If you look at the width of a track, that's how we get 1,500 people on an Elizabeth line through that little tiny gap. So I'm hoping people remember that. I'm hoping
That's
people
true.
also remember that actually we design, build and test those trains here, so that it's not an anonymous company somewhere else. They're designed, built, tested in Derby.
Yeah, that's cool.
And what we really want as a company is we want a clear plan of what is that future looking like. We need to see an industrial plan for the railways.
George Stephenson's first locomotive may have started life in the northeast, but it is the Midlands where the rail industry really took off 200 years ago. The region became a crucial part in linking the north and south of the country. We've had a look back at the history of the railway in the Midlands and how it came to be.
Yeah, I bet before that it was like a really long travel to go from north to south.
Oh, I love it.
The invention of the steam train was life-changing, and the Midland Railway became one of the largest operators in the country. This is one of the early steam locomotives, getting ready to carry passengers and freight
I wonder when that
north
was.
to south. It went through Derby, which became the centre for train making for decades.
3 different railway companies came to Derby in the late 1830s and changed the world effectively. Here we are in the 21st century. It's impossible for us to imagine what it would have been like to somebody in the 1830s, a time when the fastest that anybody could have possibly travelled would have been a professional jockey on a thoroughbred horse, and then all of a sudden steam engines come along.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
That is mind-blowing.
Speed of 30 miles an hour that they could sustain. It would have been just transformational to...
Wow. I mean, that is mind-blowing when you really think about it.
Yeah,
you know?
when he puts it like that,
I
the
mean,
fastest way to travel was riding a horse.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that, is very limited on the amount of time you can keep a horse at full speed, obviously. So, like, obviously this, that back in the day it took a lot longer to travel, but you don't really think about it very often, like how blessed we are because of things like the steam engine getting its start 200 years ago.
Yeah, true. You could literally go anywhere now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The people of the time, and Derby was in the thick of it.
Leicester was also in the thick of it. Thomas Cook was living in Market Harborough when he organised the very first package holiday for rail travellers in 1841. It was a one-day trip from Leicester to Loughborough to attend a temperance meeting.
Wow, look at that.
85 people paid...
Okay, I'm sorry guys for pausing again. I just want to say, did you notice it looked like the driver, engineer, conductor, whatever you want to call him, is outside. He's not enclosed.
Yeah. All the passengers are too.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
The idea that it was $1 shilling in total, and that included the food when they got there.
Wow.
And we arranged for bands to be playing, and it was all about it being cheap and affordable. You knew what you were paying, and to get as many people as possible to this temperance rally in Loughborough.
This landmark day trip has earned Leicester the accolade of the birthplace of tourism. Rail travel continued to thrive, and in 1899 the Great Central Railway opened. It linked the North, Nottingham and Leicester with London.
Be some hot work, probably.
A tremendous engineering achievement of the day, and it took all of the learning over the previous many decades of the rapid expansion of railways, and this was, an engineering masterpiece in that regard, because it had gentle gradients and very slight curves, which meant that it could be fast.
It was to be the last of the great Victorian steam lines to be built, and had the most modern locomotives and luxurious carriages. Their express trains always included a restaurant car.
It was a society very much driven by class, and so the rail carriages went from first to third class and the third class was basically open air. So you
Oh.
were subject to the weather, the steam from the steam train,
Wow.
etc. But it was, yes, it was quite liberating in that people could travel in a way that they couldn't do before, and quicker, obviously, than horse and carriage.
I literally never knew that until now, that trains used to be open air in any way. I always thought they were always closed.
I mean, I've seen in picture books and stuff that depicted, but I never thought it was real life.
Yeah.
But however fast they went, the train was no match for the freedom of the motor car. And after the Second World War, there was a steady decline in rail travel. In the early 1960s, the chairman of British Railways, Dr. Richard Beeching, made huge cuts to rail transport, known as the Beeching Axe.
Dr. Richard Beeching is a much maligned figure in railway history, but I think from this distance of history we can look back and say that he did what he had to do. And what Beeching's report, the crux of it was that the railway should concentrate on what they were good at.
Freight.
Moving bulk quantities of freights long distance and intercity passenger transport. Pardon me if it sounds a little bit cynical, but you could say it's the epitome of use it or lose it.
The Great Central Railway line was one of the casualties, and no one was happy about it.
Mr. Catton, you're the rector of Eastleigh. What do you think of the railway proposals?
Oh, I think it's rather a poor show.
That could have been it.
Look at
Locos
that.
mothballed,
That's
stations
beautiful.
dismantled. But in 1969, a group of rail enthusiasts decided they wanted to get the trains back on the tracks. And they succeeded. Despite Dr. Beeching's axe, the Great Central Railway is again a thriving business.
Oh man, I so look forward to visiting some of these older
Yeah, I
train
do
stations.
too. It's gonna
You
be
know,
really
it's
cool.
just something, I don't know, so cool. The energy, I bet, of those places, pretty amazing.
Quite the history. And it's clear how vital the East Midlands has been to the rail network since its conception. Well, today it's still one of the most popular ways of getting around, but not all passengers are happy with the service they get. I went to Leicester Station to speak to passengers about their experiences of rail travel.
I actually made sure to give myself about an hour before I need to be in Luton to catch my flight, because there's so regularly there are issues.
I was like, oh yeah, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I get lost to? Obviously, people helped me, staff helped me, so it was very comfortable, even though it's my first time.
We're a bit disappointed that the first class lounges aren't available anymore. So that's and the service is reduced considerably to what it used to be.
They need to buy more cars and make it more accessible for people with
Abilities, yeah. A while ago, my dog fell under the train when someone tried to help him get off, and they picked him up by his harness, and he fell under the train. And I had a complete panic attack. The staff were wonderful, really, really helpful.
Railway is actually quite cool because you can use different platforms to discover different parts of the UK. So I think it's actually amazing.
I think from what I understand, something that surprised me, from what I understand now, is the fact that railway travel in the UK is more expensive than I thought.
Yeah.
I was under the impression, because compared to here, you guys have such a much more vast railway infrastructure in general. And so I thought it would be like a really cheap way to travel, but supposedly that's not the case.
Which I'm glad we knew that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Instead of getting there and
We're still going to do a lot of railway travel, maybe just not as much as we were hoping, because it sounds like it could be quite expensive if you try to do it all the time or whatnot. But I was kind of surprised to hear that first guy, I think it was the first guy, talking
saying
about
how it's late all the time.
Aren't you under the impression that they're always on time?
Like clockwork.
You see them carrying those little watches and whatnot, and it's like you just assume rail travel is always going to be on time. But maybe that's not the case.
So what's being done to try and sort out some of those issues? Well, Phil Brewster is live in Market Harborough, where electrification is on its way. And Phil,
Electrification
when are we expecting it to be
of their
up
train?
and
Electric
running?
trains.
Well, good question, Samir. Up until a few weeks ago, electrification of the Midland Main Line was powering ahead. As you can probably see behind me, all the overhead power cables and the gantries are all in place, ready for the new bi-mode trains to zip up and down the Midland Main Line between London, St Pancras and the East Midlands. Now, these trains are meant to be lighter, quicker, quieter, and unlike diesel trains, much better for the environment. They can also accelerate and brake more quickly, which effectively potentially means more railway journeys and in turn better for the passengers. Now, they're all part of some kind of rail revolution that's happening now for the transport for the future. But as you can see from my report, once again, the Midland Main Line project has had to hit the buffers.
When was the last time you made a long business trip and your train had to stop for breakfast?
In the 1980s, passengers in the East Midlands were encouraged to ditch the car and let the train take the strain. Back then, intercity 125s were the latest thing. Fast forward 40 years, and this will soon be the future of high-speed rail travel in the region. Bi-mode trains. Lighter and quicker, they can run on both diesel and electricity.
From an environmental perspective, they're going to be much better. They've also got the next level of technology on them because they're a brand new train. And it's going to be a significant step up from the trains we've got today, which themselves are 20 years old, that run on the Midland Main Line.
But as ever, there are political leaves on the line. The East Coast Main Line, which stops at Peterborough, Grantham and Newark, has been fully electrified for decades. But work to electrify the Midland Main Line has once again been put on hold.
Okay, I was... From what I understand, I thought most of the trains were already electric, and basically any line that a train would run on, for example, if it's an electric train, it would only go on electric lines, obviously. Right. So I was curious for a second why there would be a combo of diesel and electric. I guess it's so that they can go on electric lines and they can easily go all over the place. It doesn't really matter which line they're on.
Stuck in one little area.
Yeah, you could possibly, I guess that could expand one train being able to take you further distances and whatnot instead of having to transport
constantly switch
from an electric to a diesel, from a diesel to an electric. I guess that's probably what they're doing there.
Much to the annoyance of the region's political leaders, who say it'll affect jobs and growth.
It is incredibly frustrating that they will run under electric wires to Wigston, just south of Leicester, and from there on up all the way through the cities of Derby, Nottingham and all the way up to Sheffield, they'll have to run under diesel, and that's obviously is not good for our economy, but not good for our environment either.
Elsewhere, others are looking to the future by revisiting the past. This is the Ivanhoe Line. For 130 years it ran between Burton-on-Trent and Leicester before being closed in the 1960s. It's now used solely for freight. But campaigners like Douglas Maclay say the explosion in road traffic, train travel, commuting and tourism means the line should be reopened for passengers.
The railway is here, it's built, the track bed, its status.
I mean, that's true,
right? Known. There's no compulsory land purchases required. There's no digging through.
It's already there.
Land.
Yeah, it's already there.
All that was done by the Victorians, and all we've got to do is benefit from it.
There we are.
Back in Nottingham, East Midlands Railway unveils one of its newly refurbished regional trains. But the company's managing director thinks going forward, what will fundamentally change is not the look of trains, but what fuels them. In 2018, Alstom became the first rail manufacturer in the world to build a train powered by a hydrogen fuel cell, which emits only water. Battery-powered trains are also
that train looks pretty nice.
Yeah, some of the trains look nice, but they don't have that same classic style.
The spirit of a steam train.
Yes, but I totally
There's
get
pros
it,
and cons.
right? I mean, how comfortable you're probably going to be on a train like this, how much more efficient, how faster they can get from point A to point B, all of that's much improved.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual look of the engine itself, obviously the steam trains of yesteryear just were so much more beautiful.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you would probably looking at those are nicer, and it's probably a nice kind of iconic feel to be able to ride on one every once in a while.
It's more of an experience.
It's an experience
versus everyday travel.
Yeah, if you want to go actually travel today, like on a regular basis or on long distances, you would much prefer to get on something like this probably because it's going to be
comfort.
So much more comfortable, I'm sure.
I think the big question is what we do around traction power, and is that electrification? Is it hydrogen? Is it fuel cells? I think there's
I think the hydrogen
in terms of what that
is a good idea.
strategy looks like, and I know it's something the industry as a whole is looking at.
But whatever the future of rail travel looks like, supporters are convinced trains are the way forward.
They're going to be much more about giving people the opportunity to travel to work, to live somewhere nice, people to come to visit them, to go to college, to go to university. All these kind of things will be much more open to, accessible to people who haven't got a car, or don't want to use a car.
Thomas is famous worldwide. There's been a special exhibition about him here at the Greatest Gathering today. And our reporter, Ravneet Nandra, is at Thomas Land in Drayton Manor now.
Thomas Land.
Thomas
was
Land.
Thomas a staple in your home when you were growing up?
Oh, Samina, that music was just so nostalgic. It took me all the way back to the 90s. 90s, and we are at Thomas World. If you have a look just down there, we can see Thomas is waiting for his last ride. It's really just bringing me back to the 90s and Thomas and Friends for that famous TV show. And it's not just me that loved and lived here. Millions of children did around the world, so much so that in 2008 Drayton Manor opened Thomas Land. And it was nostalgic for the parents as well, but don't just take my word for it.
So it was all the way through my childhood. So bringing him,
look at that ride over there.
For me too. And obviously it's his birthday, and he loves Thomas. So yeah, we just come because of that, really.
I really like the rides, and like they're really fun. And
do you watch Thomas?
Yeah, I used to when I was little.
I was here every summer holidays as a kid, brought all of these back as a kid, and now it's her turn to enjoy it all.
I like Thomas and the history and everything like this.
What's your favourite ride today?
I liked the cranky. Oh, the cranky one. It goes up and then down.
Now, did you know that this year marks 80 years since the very first iteration of Thomas and his Friends in
80 years?
Storybooks, and the TV show began in 1984. Wow. The actual model where they filmed it is actually sitting pride and place in Drayton Manor today for people to see. You can see all the intricacies of faces and characters and buildings. But do you know what? I want to ride on the real thing. So, peep, peep, Thomas, let's go.
I love it.
Ravneet, thank you. Certainly the place where memories are made. And that is almost it from the Greatest Gathering at Alstom in Derby. It really has been an enjoyable day. And thank you to the staff.
So, number one, what is Thomas? Is it Thomas Land?
That's what they called it.
Thomas Land?
Yeah.
Okay, is that like a full-on amusement park?
I think it's like a smaller scale.
I mean, obviously it wasn't like...
I think it's only got a handful of rides, probably.
I wonder if Sophia would like that. It looked like a place Sophia would like.
She's probably about to age out of it, though, in the next few years.
I don't know, man. It looks like that reporter was having fun riding around on Thomas.
Yeah.
Where is that, guys? That might be something we might want to check out when we come over.
Thomas Land.
You know, I'd definitely like to check out some amusement park type stuff over there.
Yeah,
I know they have.
I love amusement.
They have Legoland. I don't know. Do we have a Legoland here?
Yeah, there's one in Florida. I don't know about anywhere else. Maybe California.
Florida has a number of amusement parks down there. But guys, definitely looking forward to doing some train travel when we get over there.
Yeah.
Specifically for me, it's definitely the steam engines. I just think there's something. It's just iconic, you know. I do look forward to doing some train travel on some like more modern trains, the trains you ride. But I would love to take the Flying Scotsman specifically.
That was not. It was expensive.
No, you're thinking of a different one. You're thinking of one. We got told in the comments. I can't remember what it was called. It was. I don't remember what it was called, but we were told it was like 1,000 or 7,000 pounds each. And you were like, "Oh my goodness, that's Flying Scotsman." No, the Flying Scotsman is like 50 or 60 pounds, I believe.
Okay,
something
pricey,
like that.
But for a one-time experience.
For a one-time experience, yes.
You know, bucket list adventure.
Yes. I wanted to see more of the trains, though. I wanted to see more of them close up. But,
I do too.
You know, something I really thought was fascinating here was seeing that train that was open air. You know,
I know.
Where the conductor was. Yeah, I know. And that was a beautiful train. I don't remember the name of it, but I definitely want to look at some more individual trains. For example, we got to look into the Mallard. for sure.
That was the one that had the speed record, right?
Well, the Flying Scotsman had a speed record initially, but I think the Mallard...
I think the Mallard still has the...
Yeah, I think the Mallard might be the one that still has it, like, all time, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Flying Scotsman was the one that got up to that initial speed record for the first time. I forgot how fast that was. It was really fast, especially for back in the day. I can't remember the exact speed it was though, but definitely got to check out the Mallard. I'd like to check out some other ones like that one. That was a beautiful train there. Let us know in the comments, guys, what specific trains should we check out next? The Mallard's obviously one of those. Also, what else do you think we should check out when it comes to rail? As we've said many times, this is something we don't really have much experience with, so anything we learn is probably going to be something we're learning for the first time when it comes to rail. But guys, I think that's it for us today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments, suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.